Bitcoin halving in 2024. This event is a huge deal for all the Bitcoin maxis out there. The Bitcoin protocol is designed in a way that's the complete opposite of quantitative easing. Only 21 million coins will ever be issued, and the rate of new coin issuance keeps decreasing over time. At the moment, 6.25 Bitcoins are issued every 10 minutes. However, every 4 years, this block reward is cut in half, which is what we call the halving. The next halving is scheduled for April 20, 2024, and the reward will drop from 6.25 BTC to 3.125 BTC per block. So if the demand for new Bitcoins remains constant and the supply is cut in half, the price should go up. Let's see what happens. We have got some exciting news about the upcoming Bitcoin halving in 2024. So if you want all the fresh updates about next halving, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned. Before we start, make sure to hit that like and subscribe buttons. Let's begin. What is Bitcoin halving? Bitcoin halving is when the reward for Bitcoin mining is cut in half and takes place every 4 years. The halving policy was written into Bitcoin's mining algorithm to counteract inflation by maintaining scarcity. In theory, the reduction in the pace of Bitcoin issuance means that the price will increase if demand remains the same. At the moment, Bitcoin has an inflation rate of less than 2%, which will decrease with further halvings, says David Weisberger, CEO of trading platform CoinRoutes. That's looking pretty good compared with the 7% Australian annual inflation rate. Bitcoin's production scarcity is what defines its finiteness, and when reward goes down, supply is constrained, says Chris Klein, Chief Operating Officer of Bitcoin IRA. Increasing demand at a time when supply is constrained has a positive impact on price, which can make Bitcoin alluring to investors. How does Bitcoin halving work? A decentralized network of validators verifies all Bitcoin transactions in a process called mining. They are paid 6.25 BTC when they are the first to verify a block of transactions, using complex math to add it to the Bitcoin blockchain as part of its proof-of-work mechanism. At the current Bitcoin price, 6.25 BTC is worth about $148,000, a decent incentive for miners to keep adding blocks of Bitcoin transactions. Those blocks of transactions are added roughly every 10 minutes, and the Bitcoin code dictates that the reward for miners is reduced by half after every 210,000 blocks are created. That happens roughly every 4 years in periods that are often accompanied by heightened Bitcoin price volatility. Why does Bitcoin halving matter? Usually there is an increase in volatility for Bitcoin following the halving. The supply of available Bitcoin decreases, which raises the value of Bitcoin yet to be mined, making it a more attractive asset to investors. There are other elements to consider when analyzing Bitcoin's post-halving booms. More press coverage of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, a fascination with the digital asset's anonymity, a gradual increase in real-world use cases for the currency. However, if you believe in the value of history, past Bitcoin halvings have been long-term bullish drivers for the cryptocurrency's price. The next halving, on the other hand, is almost certain to impact the BTC ecosystem in various ways, primarily as the economic benefit of mining becomes less enticing, and for less effective miners, unprofitable. The number of Bitcoin miners is widely projected to decline. When was the first Bitcoin halving? The first Bitcoin halving occurred in November 2012. The next halving was in July 2016. And the most recent halving was in May 2020. What happened the last time Bitcoin halved? Bitcoin last underwent a halving event on 11 May 2020, where rewards for mining became 50% lower, falling from 12.5 new Bitcoin per block to 6.25 Bitcoin. The tightening supply provided a bullish scenario for the asset, where the coin's price surged from $6,877.62 on 11 April, a month before the halving, to $8,821 at the time of the event itself. Despite significant volatility, the price continued to rise over the course of the next year to reach $49,504 on 11 May 2021. When is the next Bitcoin halving? The Bitcoin algorithm dictates that the halving happens based on a specific number of newly created blocks. Nobody knows precisely when the next halving will occur, but experts point to May 2024 as an anticipated date. Bitcoin halving 2024. What to know? Experts say the somewhat predictable nature of Bitcoin halvings was designed so that it's not a major shock to the network. But that doesn't mean there won't be a trading frenzy surrounding Bitcoin's next halving. Historically, there is a lot of Bitcoin price volatility leading up to and after a halving event, says Rob Chang, CEO of Gryphon Digital Mining, a privately held Bitcoin miner. However, the price of Bitcoin typically ends up significantly higher a few months after. While many other factors influence Bitcoin's price, it does seem that halving events are generally bullish ones for the cryptocurrency after initial volatility eases. Baker says investors should be cautious about the next Bitcoin halving. Although scarcity can drive price appreciation, reduced mining activity could cause the price to level off. The key point for investors to consider, however, isn't the specific dates of halving events, but to focus on the growth of the network overall. Weisberger says, as long as the network continues to grow, the likelihood of Bitcoin fulfilling its potential as a global store of value increases. What would happen if a substantial number of miners suddenly quit Bitcoin mining? The consequences of a significant number of miners abruptly quitting Bitcoin mining would directly impact the hash rate and several other aspects of the Bitcoin network. The hash rate represents the computational power dedicated to mining Bitcoin. The network's overall hash rate would drop if many miners stopped mining, with block formation times taking longer and network security also degrading. For instance, if many miners decide to depart simultaneously, the network may experience a bottleneck for a moment as users migrate to more rapid chains, making it easier for fraudulent users to take parts of the network. However, historical evidence suggests that halving events do not cause this reaction. When the first halving occurred in 2012, Bitcoin's hash rate dropped from December 2012 to mid-February 2013. Following that, both hash rate and mining profitability increased. This means that once the dust settles, halving is advantageous to both miners and the network as a whole. A similar scenario occurred during Bitcoin's second halving, but the beneficial impacts took longer to manifest. The hash rate continued to rise steadily, but mining profitability did not recover for nearly a year after the halving date. If this pattern continues for the next event, mining profitability may suffer a long-term decline. How might the Bitcoin halving impact BTC's price? It is not yet clear how the next halving will impact Bitcoin's price. Many commentators believe that the price will follow a similar pattern to the previous three halvings, rising after the event itself as the supply of new coins is constrained. However, any price rise will depend on how demand for Bitcoin shapes up over the course of the halving. Demand is by no means certain to increase or even remain static, as the market has matured significantly since the last halving in 2020, and there are now many more well-established cryptocurrencies competing for users. Historically, Bitcoin's price has bottomed out a little over a year before the halving and then climbed leading into the event. After the halving, the price usually shoots up, with post-halving rallies lasting around 480 days on average. If history repeats itself, we might see Bitcoin's price bottoming out in December 2023, followed by a rally leading into early 2024, and a strong rally after the halving. Some predictions even suggest that the price could rise to $36,000 before the halving and soar to $149,000 afterward. Isn't that mind-blowing? So that is enough for today's video. We hope you got mouth-opening and full knowledge information from this video. Please share your opinion and thoughts in comment section.